guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Emily and today I'll be reviewing the new LEGO Friends The Apartment set number 10292. It has 2,048 pieces, it's for ages 18 and up, and it retails for $150 US. So I know there is just a ton to see here, don't worry, I will break it all down for you. I'll go step by step from Monica's apartment to Chandler's and even this little hallway in the middle. But I just wanted to show you how big this set is. This thing is absolutely massive, and I know I should have kind of expected that, especially since I already have Central Perk that came out in 2019. But I wasn't expecting it to be this large. Like, this is a very wide set, and it's actually quite deep too, because the two are not flush with each other, which you can alter. You can of course mod it to make that happen, but the way the set is supposed to be, it's a very deep set, and you might have some trouble displaying it, especially if you have these Billy bookcases like I do. It'll hang off the edge a little bit, so keep that in mind. So I bought and built the set on the same day, and it was a blast to build. It was so much fun because it's mostly brickwork, which I personally love. I'm not a huge Technic fan, so there's just a ton of brickwork to do here, little accessories here and there within the apartments, but a lot of it really is like the walls surrounding them. And so that was just a ton of fun to do. Also, here's some more just overall thoughts about the set before we dive in a little bit deeper. So these sets, just like Central Perk did back in 2019, have the studio lighting in the front. We have the two sets here on each side, and I think they look really cool. It's a fun touch to it because it makes it a little bit more meta, you know? It's like actually the studio set, which is really cool. Also, my eyes are just totally drawn to Monica's apartment. Monica and Rachel's, I guess. I just love the colors in here, the pastels. We get a ton of these nice purple bricks, some yellow, some blue, and my eyes are just totally drawn to it. Like, I love these pastel colors, and those are colors we don't see too often, especially in like these types of builds. Like, how often do we see a purple wall? You know, it's kind of cool. Whereas Joey and Chandler's apartment is, of course, not as colorful, but it definitely reflects what we saw in the Friends show. So as you can see in front of me, we have Rachel and Monica's apartment, we have Joey and Chandler's apartment, and then this little adjoining hallway in the middle. Now, this is actually kind of neat because it comes right out and it kind of fits in like a puzzle. There's nothing clutching it in, like it's not actually attached to anything. You can lift it up quite easily, which is a little bit different than I expected. So you really can just separate the two builds if you want them kind of displayed a little bit differently. Put this one in the back perhaps. It's really up to you. And as you can see down here, we have these two little black notches, and that's kind of where it slides onto. And then when we take a look at the back, there's really not too much to see here. It does look really slick, which I do like. Like, they did a good job finishing it off, so if you do see the back, it's not the end of the world, but it's definitely better displayed by the front, of course. We do get this nice little patio outside Monica's apartment where we have the orange cat as well as the poking stick, but we will get into all the Easter eggs a little bit later on. So now we're going to take a closer look first at Joey and Chandler's apartment and check out all the Easter eggs found in there. We're going to move on to Monica and Rachel's apartment, check all of those fun details as well, and then finally the little adjoining hallway. So now here we have Joey and Chandler's apartment, and there's a lot to see inside, but I'll give you just like a 360 view of what this looks like from the outside as well. Again, you know, there's nothing really too crazy going on the outside of this building, but it's nice that they did finish it off, so it does look decent from the back. As for the details inside, the first thing that stuck out to me, of course, is this giant canoe piece, and I just love that. I think it's a really cool color. It's fun that they included it, because that's from the episode where basically that's their only furniture, and Joey and Chandler are just having a good time in their canoe. So it's really fun. It's a cool piece, so I'm very happy with that. And then here we have Gladys in the corner, and she just comes on this piece of artwork, which is kind of neat, and you just kind of set her up against the wall, really. That's kind of where she lives. But the face printing on her is very different. It's almost faded over, which is kind of cool. It shows that she's not like a real person, I guess, like a real minifigure. She's definitely a piece of art, or, you know, kind of, depending on what your definition of art is. But yeah, this is from the scene where Phoebe basically just makes this terrible piece of artwork, and it's pretty bad. Nobody wants it. People are fighting over who has to keep it, so it's kind of fun they included it in this set. And we also get this foosball table down there, which is just really interesting, kind of different. I had never seen a foosball table in Lego form before, and it uses a bunch of these little trophy pieces to make it, which I just thought was really creative. Also included here are the chicken and the duck, but I do have a complaint about this. The duck does not really look like a duck. To me, it just looks like a dove, you know, just like a really dainty small bird. So I kind of wish that they had either made a new mold for it, or at least tried something different. I don't know what they should have used instead, but it just doesn't look like a duck to me, honestly. And then in the back here we have Pat the dog, which is just this like white dog statue. It's just this recurring joke throughout the show, so it's fun that they included it. And then one of my favorite parts about this part is the reclining chairs. So they actually go down together, which is kind of neat. It's built with just one large Technic pin kind of going through all of it, and so I just thought that was really cool that they did that. It's a nice little touch. It's really the only play feature in this set, but it's kind of fun. Also, just a side note, the way this is built is that this part kind of goes in on its own. So you build this part, I think that's pretty much most of bag 1, and it just kind of fits nice and snug in there. So kind of cool. I don't really know why they don't ever attach it in. And then as for more of the fun kind of hidden details in this part of the set, we do see this little minifigure artwork there. It's just kind of cool. I don't know if that's actually a reference from the show. I couldn't really see anything from any clips that I've watched, but it is kind of cool. In the middle here, though, is Joey Tribbiani as a doctor, because of course, as we know, he played on Days of Our Lives as a doctor, so it's just kind of cool having him on TV there. And then way in the back there, we have another piece of art that was actually found in the show, which is kind of cool. They did really try to incorporate the artwork from the show that was hanging on the walls just to make it feel a lot more like the actual set, so I do appreciate that. And then in the back there, you see where Pat the dog is, as well as that bright yellow couch, of course, with those 2 windows and some nice little light fixtures as well. And then on the door next to it, we have a nice little tennis racket accessory. This thing is just like packed full of accessories. We also see that little hockey stick there, which is kind of fun. As for the accessories on the wall near the kitchen, we do have this little dartboard, which is just really cool, as well as some more artwork there. In the kitchen though, they just packed it full of detail, full of accessories. So as you can see, they have this little ticket there. We also see the chicken sitting there, some milk. Also on top of the fridge, they just really packed it full. Like, it really looks like a full kitchen to me. There's just a ton of accessories. They did a great job with it. And then by the front door, they do have this little Manhattan poster, which, you know, of course they had this in the show as well, so that's really cool. It's great they included it. And then by the door, they have this little, like, reminder board type foam thing, and they just have a bunch of details written on it, and fun fact, it says Emily on there, which is my name, so that's pretty cool. My name's in a Lego set. So now here we have Rachel and Monica's apartment, and obviously there's a lot more color in this thing. There's a lot more bright colors, more pastels, and a bunch of minifigures just walking around, but do not worry, I will go more in depth on the minifigures a little bit later on. So as you can see, right when we walk in the door, we do have this little sailboat artwork, and that's just like very standard. That's found in a lot of the Lego sets. That's, you know, just a very normal kind of standard thing. But on the door there, we do have that nice sticker. They did include that frame, the iconic just Friends front door frame thing. It's pretty cool. It also comes with this little turkey accessory where Monica can put it on her head. You can't actually put it on the minifigure's head, but you can make it so that she's kind of holding it, so it kind of looks like it's on her head, but it's not the same thing, I don't think. Moving into the kitchen a little bit more, we do have this dollhouse here because Phoebe had this dollhouse because Monica had a dollhouse, and Monica's was really pretty. Phoebe wanted to play with it, Monica wouldn't let her. Anyways, Phoebe made this like disastrous type of dollhouse thing, and so that's what that is, and unfortunately, it goes ablaze and Ross tries to put it out, but I don't know. I feel like they could have done a better job with that actual dollhouse build itself. It just doesn't look like a dollhouse to me. And then in the rest of the kitchen, you just see so many accessories, tons of stuff just lining the wall there. And it's really nice they did include that. It really does fill out the apartment. It makes it look a lot like the show. And just looking at the whole set, I love the interior design on it. Like all of these angles here. It's just so cool. Like, I love this little like angle in the back going on there. It's just nice, like all the details. It's kind of fun to build it too because it's not just, you know, a normal box shape. So that's just something to keep in mind. And then here's her living room, and there's, again, just so many details in here, so many accessories, and it feels quite cluttered, but I know that this is like pretty much what it looked like. So as you can see, we have that nice white couch, and then these pillows here, I thought that they would fly around a little bit. Like I thought it would be one of those things like a loose accessory, but they stay put, which is really good. I don't really like it when pieces just kind of like aren't connected to something. And so talking about art again, we do have this nice piece of art on the wall there, and in the show it looks like this really nice kind of old antique French painting, but here it's actually in Danish because Lego is a Danish company, and it actually says Leg Got on it, which is Lego. And then on the top in Danish, it says only the best is good enough, which is of course Lego's slogan. So that's just like a really fun touch. And then on the TV there, it says Go Sports, which is just kind of funny. And I really hope they keep making these stickers because I just think it's hilarious. Something else fun that they included in this set is Monica's little guilty pleasure, just messy closet area. And it's just full of junk. Like there's so much just crammed in there, which is cool, but you can just close that thing up and you don't have to see it. Now on the back of Rachel and Monica's apartment, we do have this nice little patio outside with the orange cat, as well as the poking stick, which is just kind of fun. They use that at some point to check on the naked guy across the street just because he's been sleeping for a while. They want to make sure he's awake. So that's what that poking stick's about. But I just think it adds a little bit of detail to it that I really do like. Like this whole patio area, I really like that. So now let's take a look at this adjoining hallway that goes between, of course, Joey and Chandler's apartment and Rachel and Monica's. So as you can see, it's a very simple build here, but it's really important. So as we see, when we kind of flip it upside down, is that there's these two kind of areas here where it looks like something should fit in there. So on both of the apartments, we have this little black lip there, and it just allows for the adjoining hallway to kind of just like fit on top of it. So it's not actually clutching to anything. It just sits right on top there. So it's really easy to move around. And so as I was saying earlier, if you do want the apartments to be flush with each other, where, you know, one isn't just further forward than the other is, you can actually alter the bottom of this and make it so that they are flush, so that they're not just like right across from each other. You can alter it to make it however you want. As for the actual Easter eggs in the adjoining hallway itself, there's clearly not much to see here, not much to talk about. But we do have that cake there. And that cake was this really, really good cake where Rachel and Chandler just loved it. They were so happy they found it, but it fell on the floor. And so we have the spoon there because Joey then later comes and he's like, oh, there's cake. He doesn't care that it's on the floor, but of course he wants to eat it because he's Joey. So it's just like a really fun little, like quite literally small detail to include, but I do really like that they did. So now let's take a closer look at the minifigures in this set because they are just absolutely amazing. So I will go more in depth on all of them, but just here's a quick overview. Going left to right, we have Rachel Green, Joey Tribbiani, Phoebe Buffay, Ross Geller, Monica Geller, Chandler Bing, Janice, and then in the back there you can kind of see her Gladys. Alright, so we're going to start off with Rachel Green, and I love the outfit they chose for her. It's just so iconic from the show. People actually dress up like this for Halloween. It's pretty crazy. Anyways, I just love the printing on her. The skirt just looks so good. I love that plaid skirt, as well as those socks. Like, first of all, they did a really great job making this in minifigure form, but also her outfit is just adorable. Like, this is such a cute minifigure. Around on the back though, I just feel like the skirt looks kind of weird. It just gets chopped off, which just seems strange to me. Now here we have Monica Geller in a nice fall sweater with a yellow apron, and this is actually the outfit she wore when she was baking a ton of Halloween candy for the neighbors. Basically, they keep coming to her, asking her for more and more candy, and she just can't say no. I really love this outfit choice for her because she's a chef, but also it just looks really cute. Plus her accessory here is a whisk, so that just like totally makes sense. And then on the back of this minifigure, I'm just blown away by the attention to detail. So you can see along her neckline and waist, she has the straps from the apron she's wearing. And I feel like it would have been very easy for them to just kind of forget about that, but they included it, which is really cool. Moving on now to Phoebe Buffay, and I'm gonna be honest, I just don't really see it. Like, I don't think the face printing really represents her. Maybe that's just me, but also her actual outfit just isn't that great. I just don't really like it. I don't really have a solution on what they could have done better. Just a different outfit entirely would have been better, I think. But anyways, her accessory is a paintbrush because of course she's a painter, she's an artist. And we do get some torso printing in the back, though it is mostly covered by her hair. Now let's check out Chandler Bing. I love this minifigure. I just think it's really fun. He has a nice brown suit on with a fun tie because Chandler always wore just really fun ties. And that alternate face printing for him is the actual best. Like, it looks just like him. And here's Joey Tribbiani, and this is probably my favorite minifigure out of all of them. He just looks so funny. So basically, this is from the episode where he just puts on all of Chandler's clothes, and his whole line is like, could I be wearing any more clothes? Because, you know, it's just a really funny scene, and his accessory here is the scarf that he's currently wearing. Looking at the back, there's really not too much to talk about, and I think the face printing that he has on the front looked better than this one. And now here we have Ross Geller, and this is actually from a really funny scene in the show. I know he looks super boring right here, but I promise it's hilarious. This is from the scene where he's wearing these super tight black leather pants, and essentially he just can't get them on, so he uses some baby powder to try to like make it a little bit more comfortable. He then brings out the lotion, and then it forms some kind of a paste, and he's just struggling. He's on the struggle bus, but it's just such a funny scene to watch. And again, on the back, there's really not too much to see. I also really like this face printing though. Now here we have Janice. I am so happy that Janice was included in this set. I really missed her in Central Perk. She should have been in there, but I'm at least glad that she's in this one. This minifigure just makes me smile when I see it. It is just so funny. The hairpiece is also perfect for her. It's actually the same one that they used on Bellatrix Lestrange pretty recently. Plus that face printing is perfect. Like, they couldn't have done any better with it. It's amazing. And in looking at the torso printing, she's of course wearing her signature style, the cheetah print. Just like the really tacky cheetah print with the fur, a giant pink purse, you know, just typical Janice. Looking at the back now, I'm actually really surprised at how good this torso printing is. We see that black fur along the top and then the cheetah print down the torso. And now finally Gladys, just because she's kind of a minifigure, she's at least like half of a minifigure. So I figured I would throw her in here, just, you know, why not? Something to note about Gladys is that the face printing is actually very, very dull. When I compare her face printing to Rachel's face printing, it's not the glare, it's not the camera, it really is just a lot more faded and dull. But I think that's just on purpose. You know, she's a painting. It's not supposed to look real. I think they wanted to distinguish it in that way. Overall, I am just such a huge fan of this set. I am so happy I bought it. It was $150, which I think is a bit pricey. But for me, it was worth it because it does come with a lot of really cool pieces as well as the minifigures. They just look so good. I definitely feel the nostalgia with this set, and especially while building it. The building process was so much fun to do. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.